All right, so today we're going to review domain 1, evidence 1A. And so, Mrs. Mariam, these types of questions, I think you're going to have about 3 to 4 questions like this. They are classified as medium to hard, meaning they are weighted as more important on your digital SAT. They are more important. Remember, the first session we said the harder questions have more points. So this isn't school where everything is the same. No, on the digital SAT, the harder questions have more points. And these types of questions are fairly hard. So let's begin with question number 1, right? So what we do is, obviously, step number 1, we read the text completely. Do not skim. Literally, you read sentence for sentence. Why do I say this? The College Board gives you 3 sentences, and they're all important sentences, by the way, right? They don't give you something that's not necessary. So let's actually go into this. Let's zoom in, right? I want you to read sentence number 1 for me. What does sentence number 1 tell us? Or the first 2 sentences?
It's talking about overgrowing and
It's talking about the narwhal. Okay. And it's saying what about the narwhal? Please put your phone on silent.
That's not my phone.
Okay. What's it telling us about the narwhal? Let's talk about the narwhal. And it's talking about the overgrown tooth. So we're talking about its large tooth. So as you're reading each sentence, you need to digest them. You have to understand what's being said. And a big part of our course is to practice this. Let's continue into the next sentence, right? Read it for me. What does it say about the tooth?
It's
What does
talking
it tell us?
about
Go ahead.
growth and and
When you
how
summarize
different
information,
from the
one sec.
males and females.
Okay, when you're summarizing information, you need to make sure you try to reduce what you're reading. So we're talking about the tooth, and we know the tooth is only for males. That's it. Okay. Now I want you to read the final sentence. But notice the final sentence here. It's 2 parts, right? Part number 1 is in the yellow. And then part number 2, it's in the pink. And I want you to notice we have a contrast. وليه بقول لك كده, right? Why am I telling you this? Because that but is going to help us get the logical conclusion. So read the yellow. Tell me, what does it say in the yellow about the tooth?
It's talking about like in the past biologists uh how they had like the research of the tooth grow. That's what
Just one moment. What do biologists believe about the tooth?
it was used for violent male.
Yes, it's used for violence. So it's only for males, and that the tooth is used for violence. Now, notice the but. The but here indicates a contrast. So, but that view, the violence, the tooth for violence. So, برضو عشان تعرفي, this is a narwhal whale that has that big horn. So let's talk about the horn right here. But that view has been reassessed. When we say reassess, that means it has changed upon finding out that, okay, when we're thinking of a logical conclusion, we have to think of all of these parts together. We know we're talking about the tooth. We know the tooth is in males. We know the tooth is used for violence. And we know that there's been a reassessment of that use, a change in that use. Which answer shows us a change in the idea about the tooth?
A.
Support your answer in A. You're telling me now in answer A, the tusks are usually surrounded by vestigial teeth that may be extruded from the bone or which may remain in tooth sockets. Okay, so where does it show us in answer A a change in the idea about the tooth, a change in understanding of this tooth? Does A show us that? I'll simply tell you, no, right? It doesn't talk about the function of a tooth. We're looking for a change in function. The text is telling us they believe, they speculated the tooth was used for violence. But what ba'a? There's been a reassessment. There's been a change. What is that change ba'a in the function of the tooth? Hard, huh?
B.
Does B show us a function?
Yeah, because it's talking about the males grown tooth growing and
Okay, but it doesn't show us what they use the tooth for, right? It was thought to used for violence, but it's no longer used for violence. So, the answer is C. The tusk is actually a sensory organ with millions of nerve endings that convey external stimuli about the ocean to the brain. So basically, it's بيقول لي إيه? ولازم تشوفي الايديا ده within the ocean of ideas here. Answer C بيقول لنا that, well, the tusks not used for violence. Instead, they're used as a sensory organ. You see how that works? You see how this is logical? Okay, let's try another one. I know, difficult. طبيعي. You've never done this before, and maybe you've never thought like this before. So, like now I have to logically think of it like this here, Mrs. Maryam, right? Let's say Maryam goes outside. Outside is cloudy. Maryam comes back home wet. What can we say about the weather?
It's cloudy and raining.
Well, it's already cloudy, but it's
Yeah.
raining.
Yeah.
Did we say it's raining?
What?
Did we say
No.
it's raining? No, but you draw a logical conclusion that it's raining. You put the pieces together, right? And same thing here now. Same thing with this part. The narwhal has a tooth. The tooth is only for men. It is believed the narwhal used the tooth for violence, but instead it is used for, so now we're looking for a different function for the tooth. Let's try another one. And a 600 digital SAT, by the way, is not easy. Keep this in mind, Mrs. Median. If you take a test right now with the skills you have, you'll probably make something like, wrong question. You'll probably make something like 350, 400, just so you know. Let's try question number 2. All right. Read sentence number 1 for me. Let me zoom in for you. Sentence number 1 is here. I got to fix the punctuation. I'm sorry about that. This is sentence number 1.
It's talking about Hedy Lamar.
Just a couple of words. I don't need a full, no, just a few words. Heidi Lamar. What does it tell us about Heidi Lamar?
When did he or she born? And
We can
yeah,
say Heidi Lamar was an actress and was
yes,
popular in movies, correct?
yeah.
Okay, so next part, I want you to see this word right here. However, what does however indicate to us? What does however mean? It means a contrast, a change in ideas. And this is really important, تاخدي بالك بالpoints دولت, right? Because this shows us a shift, right? It shows us a change. So now I want you to read this part. What does it tell us about Heidi Lamar? 3 or 4 words.
She had unstable uh, curiosity. Is it right?
Insatiable curiosity,
Okay.
right? So she had an insatiable curiosity, and she made or she tinkered with inventions, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Remember that movie, the rain example. So now we know she's an actress. She made inventions. Let's read idea number 3.
She wanted in 1940. She wanted the war effort, and it was for good torpedoes. Torpedoes. المهم.
Torpedoes.
Okay.
Okay. Now remember, minimize the words you're using. So we know she made inventions, and one invention was called frequency hopping, right? These are all extra details, what you're telling me. We want the main focus. So now we know she was an actress. She made inventions. She created for the military frequency hopping. Okay. I want you to continue into this idea. Now notice the word but. Remember that? So read this first.
Uh, her techniques. It means her acting. Her. Wait.
No,
I
talk
hope.
about her inventions. Okay. So when we say her techniques, we're talking about her inventions. So her inventions were not used by the military at the time, correct? That's the idea. Now notice the word but. Why do we need to pay attention to this? Because we need to contrast and make a logical conclusion. So then the military did not use but. She changed the world of communication because. So the military did not use her inventions, correct? But what would be the opposite of not using something? When you say the opposite of not using, what would you say? Flip it. So what is the opposite of not use?
Use.
Use. بالظبط. So now you're looking in the text for something that says or shows us use. So use elimination, find the wrong answers.
D.
But is that using something? No, ma'am. D does not show us something being used. We want to show use. She made inventions. She made radio interception, frequency hopping. The military did not use her inventions, but she changed the world because her inventions were used. Which answer shows us her inventions were used?
B.
Exactly. Do you see how we draw logical conclusions? Okay. Answer is B. Her inventions became the basis of systems. Her invention, what we're talking about, the frequency hopping, were used in systems. Okay. Let's try the next one. So do you see how we break down ideas, Mrs. Mariam? Let's go with idea number one. Let's begin. Idea number one introduces the topic. What are we introducing in idea number one?
It's about radiocarbon
Dating.
and yeah, dating.
That's it. We're introducing the idea and idea number one, radiocarbon. What is it? What is it?
And wait.
Radiocarbon dating. Let me help you out here. Right. It helps you identify the range of dates of something. Okay, a range of dates. So radiocarbon dating will tell you this is between 200 and 300 BC, right? Tells you a range of dates. Type تمام. Notice this right now. By contrast. What does that mean by contrast? What does that mean by contrast?
It means but or
Good.
however.
So I want you to read this next idea, and I want you to notice we're contrasting from the first idea. So dendrochronology.
What's the first word?
Dendrochronology.
Okay. This word. Okay. I can
Say
say
DD, for
D.
example. Yeah.
Okay. And they offer more specific informations more than the scientist.
Radiocarbon dating, right? So
Yeah,
DD is more
specific
specific than
than
RC, right?
yeah.
Good. Excellent. Read the second part, the yellow only, because notice what but, right? So begin the yellow.
This is one of the three rings. Three rings, yeah, this is the
Mhm.
three rings that Didi got informations for.
Good, right? And the exact width of the rings vary depending on climatic conditions, such as the abundance of rain. What does it tell us in this part? It talks about rings. What does it say about rings?
Uh, it says about um how it growth in the climate, like in a different climate. I don't know how to explain it.
Size varies according to climate. Okay. Sometimes the ring ممكن يبقى كبير if there's lots of rain, and sometimes rings صغير if there's a little bit of rain. Okay. Now we want to draw the conclusion. Okay. I want you to read that first green part. Comparing rings of different trees allows scientists to determine when the tree lived. Okay, it's telling us a conclusion, right? If you compare the rings, you can know when the tree lived. And using DD, if you know when the tree lived, then what does that mean in context? Think
Let's see.
about it. Say again.
No, wait.
Did you say B? You
No,
say
I
A?
didn't. No. It's D.
No, you told the original answer correct. Your original answer.
What?
Your original answer is correct.
C?
Yeah, but you changed it.
I got scared.
Why? Think about it like this, Maya. صح? They take the wood, they know how old the wood is. صح?
Yes.
If they find a statue made of wood, they can count the rings and find how old that statue is. So that's why comparing the rings of different trees allows scientists to determine when the tree lived, and this will help them determine the age. عشان ده المين idea برضه بيقول لي DD is more accurate in aging something than RC. So we're talking about aging something. So when the wood for an object like a panel painting or historical building was harvested, right? Because we know the age, right? When something happened. Tell me D, the species of the tree. Soft topic though, Maria. We're not talking about species, صح? We're not talking about species. Let's try the next one. Do you have any questions?
No.
I hope that it's getting easier for you. I hope it's clicking the skill that you need to answer these types of questions correctly. Okay, this is a graph question. Okay. Okay, ready? Ready? Read the text.
Yes, I'm ready.
Let's read the first one. What's it saying?
It's about listed among.
It's about what?
Listed among.
Read the sentence, Mrs. Mariam. Who or what is the sentence about?
About tigers.
Tigers. Mariam, focus. It's about tigers. What does it say about tigers? What is being claimed about tigers?
The same sentence?
In the same sentence.
They are listed.
Listed as what? Be more specific.
Endangered.
Endangered. Good. Tigers are endangered. Let's read the next sentence. Turn it on me. Yeah.
It talks about the large tigers. They live in a wide range, like wide place.
Good. And that they're endangered. And that they're endangered, right? It's telling us why they're endangered. So they're large, they require a wide range. The population is in jeopardy. Why is the population in jeopardy?
Is the habitat loss.
Poaching and habitat loss. Good. Let's continue reading. Notice, however, a shift in ideas, a shift in focus. What does it say here?
This sentence talk about the countries that makes like a place for those iconic animals. Or okay, for
Well, it's actually more telling us that the countries are preserving them. Countries are protecting the tigers, right? Let's continue. Read this in the pink. It's giving us an example. What is it telling us in the example?
it talks about one of the countries is India,
Mm-hmm.
and it has the largest wild tiger population.
Population.
Population. Okay.
Okay.
It was between what? Yeah, it shows how it's increasing.
Good. Right? It's increasing. Okay. So it talks about India. It talks about how India is increasing. Now look at this back. Those conservation efforts are paying off. Those conservation efforts are paying off. What does that mean? That means the protection that they're giving tigers is giving good results. So now when we look in the text, we look in the graph, look at the title, tiger population by year. And then on the side there is the number of tigers. And the dark one, India, and the light one's Russia. Look at India. What do you see in each year? What trend do you see for each year? What trend do you see for each year for Indian tigers?
Mister, it's lagging. Your internet.
No, your internet. I hear myself clearly. I have
Okay,
two
I can't.
connections. That's your internet, bro.
Okay, our Wi-Fi is the most perfect Wi-Fi in the world.
I'll tell you about what I said. I say you said, Mr. Your internet. I'm just saying it's not mine.
No, it's
Look,
yours, Mister.
no, a light's not mine. I hear myself.
Okay, you can't hear. I can't hear you.
Because your internet. Can you hear me now? You can hear me now.
Yeah, I can hear you shouting.
Okay. No, I'm not shouting. I'm just, you know, on the
Excited.
defense. Excited. Yeah, right. Not my internet. So the conservation efforts are paying off. So what do you see
Yeah.
in the graph for India?
It's increasing.
Increasing.
Yeah.
Good. So now we're looking for information or an answer that tells us Indian tigers are increasing.
B.
Right? B. Why do you sound unsure?
What?
Why do you sound unsure of yourself?
Because it's it says here has an increase
Yeah.
in tigers from the the specific amount here 150.
1150
Yeah.
to 3000. Yeah, that's an increase. When you solve at home, how do you solve?
You're asking?
Yeah. When you were solving at home, how did you do it? Were you just trying to, or were you doing it haphazardly without stopping, thinking, identifying ideas, or how is it going?
No, I just read the paragraph or the passage and then I pick the answer because to take time when I'll analyze the sentence.
Look, right now, it is taking time, correct?
Yes.
It is taking time. So it's taking maybe 5 minutes to answer one question. We need to answer a question in about 2 minutes, not 5 minutes. Yeah, I'm being very honest with you. However, you don't get points for speed, meaning we have time to pick up our speed. What we need to do is make sure we get them correct first without time. If you can't get them correct without time, then how can you get them correct with time? It doesn't make sense, right? You're putting the cart before the horse, like we say. You know what that means? Putting the cart before the horse?
Yeah, mister.
You know what a cart is? Or a carriage?
لا طبعا.
لا طبعا. You know, a horse. And then you have a carriage. صح?
Wait, I didn't get it.
You're putting the carriage before the horse. How do I say this? Audibly. I don't know how to say it audibly. Priorities. أهم حاجة priorities, right? Your priorities are mixed up. Your priority right now, your focus is time, but you're getting them all wrong. So what's the point? Right? So what you need to do now is make sure you can get them correct. And after we're able to get them correct, maybe 70, 80%, then we can focus on time. So you have to build the skill first. That's what I'm telling you. You have to build the skill first. I want you to try this on your own. I want you to read the text without me now. Check the graph, because the question is asking you what weakens the claim. Weakens means what makes the claim wrong. So check the text, identify the claim. Read it for me. What's the claim?
Should I say the answer or?
Do you just want to throw down the answer? Or do you want
Yeah.
to tell me the claim first?
Okay, let me read first.
Okay, yeah. I think it's a good idea. What weakens the claim? That means when you're reading, you first identify the claim. So what you need to tell me before you check the answer is the claim.
So it talks here about pandas and how it affords as the black and white in some habitats, yeah, and
Okay.
some wait,
Pandas, the habitats. I want you to read that last sentence for me. This is a really important part, right?
it it says here that it affords for the and
Population.
population.
Yeah,
What's
all
the
good.
difference? Okay, and the growth of
The growth of the population,
yes.
correct? So now we're looking for, right? The population has grown. What would weaken that claim? What would say, which answer will show us that this claim is wrong?
I guess D.
Uh-huh. شاطرة اهو. Quick reader. ده اللي عايزينه بقى. You got all these wrong, Mrs. Mariam, but when you stop and think, you get them correct. انت عارفة تحلي, انت عارفة, you know, you can read. It takes you time to digest, and that's okay. أهم حاجة is we practice digesting, not just trying to get an answer خلاص. Okay? We're
Okay.
gonna end class right now. You have homework left over. أنا بنزل homework for Monday and Tuesday. هل أنزل لك homework هتعمليها or are you gonna tell me tests?
I have this.
So you're not gonna do any homework?
Let me finish the previous ones first.
طيب WhatsApp me بقى when you're done with them so I can give you new assignments.
Inshallah.
Inshallah, you can learn anything. Mr. Sim out. Bye.
Bye.